This is a box of a Asahi-Pentax 60mm 800mm focal length and f13 telescope. This is a mount of it, very smooth, very nice. This is the tripod. I cannot use these things indoors, so that's the reason I've done this. The tube is not wide enough, so I have to use this pad. It's practically a mouse pad. And these tube rings, and this is from the Skywatcher M42 ED tube rings, and this is the telescope itself. I use the adapter, Japanese style, 0.96 inch to 1 1/4 inch, and this is diagonal, and this is a eyepiece. Also, I've used this, both of this. This is a mid 15mm Plossl, and this is a Celestron 25mm Plossl. And I was looking through this. This is the most clear images I've ever seen with any telescope. It's superb, sharp. I'm surprised why I didn't know much about this. Mechanically, this focuser is almost perfect. Last year's fruit, this year's flowers. Visually, of course, when I hold the camera, my hand moves, and you cannot see really the sharp focus that I can see visually with the eyepiece. But visually, when you look at it, it's the closest thing you can get to a perfect image. And what I can say is that I don't see any chromatic aberration. Chromatic aberration is that the splitting of the white light into composition components of itself, from blue to red, all the spectrum. With this, you don't see that. It's perfect, near perfect. I wish the moon was high. I could just look at it now, but it's morning, so the light is not very bright, and the moon is already set, so we have to wait a few weeks probably before we can see it in the dusk. The only nagging I have, probably there was some ring here, controller ring, that could control actually the focuser holding the diagonal. Its diagonal, its own diagonal, is a little bit cracked, so it's a prism, should be really sharp. There should have been something contracting ring here that presses this. There is a split somewhere that, yeah, that's the gap that I was talking. So if there was a contracting ring, you could actually press this, and that will hold the eyepiece. So there is a gap here, which was for the purpose of contracting the ring. I've looked in many pictures of this telescope. I've not seen any contracting ring. This would have been an additional nice thing to add here, or something that you can actually hold the image with this. Hold the diagonal. That was perfect for the diagonal. Okay, that's the only nagging I can say, besides that the tube rings are not available for this. So that's the Asahi-Pentax, diameter of the objective 60mm, focal length 800mm, serial number 236,133, and made in Japan. This belongs to late 1960s. It is known also as Jupiter, the name of the telescope. Okay, I'm using the Pentax Asahi-Pentax 60mm 800mm focal length, f number or f ratio, focal ratio of 1:313, and I'm using Takashi 12.5mm eyepiece. I must say this gives me one of the best, clearest views of the planet Venus. If I exclude the Skywatcher 150 Max cutoff, that's a big compliment. And this is really good. This telescope is really good. I cannot put it on its mount because we're in coronavirus lockdown. The mount is very big, cumbersome. I just try to install it, modify, and put it on a Dobsonian little mount. And the planet Venus, as you can see, is in the where the tree is, and this telescope is pointing to it. This is a beautiful night. We have seen a storm in the past week, and now we have clear, stable night. You can see the planet Venus is setting down. You have to look toward the west. If you have even the tiniest telescopes, like this tiny one that I have here, there is yet much to enjoy. And you get a very good view. Even the worst telescope you can imagine, with a good eyepiece, you can get a lot out of it. This is a 60mm 2-inch telescope, 2.5-inch, less than that. And I've installed it on this Dobsonian mount just for ease of because the tripod of it, we cannot do it we're in lockdown. There is no enough space. And I'm doing and watching the planet Venus. You can do the same. Naked eye, you don't need anything more than just your eyes. But you have the smallest telescope. Just take it out and enjoy.